Call meeting to order. Appreciate everybody being here today. We are going to start with a moment of silence. Thank you. Safety announcements presented by Safety and Security Administrator Stephen Mata. Is it Stephen?
It's Steven, sir.
Steven, I apologize, Steven.
Close enough,
sorry
it
about
works.
that. No, it's not. Your name matters.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. It's Stephen Mata. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Steve Moda. I'm the Safety Administrator for RTD Properties. In case of emergency, we have two exits out of this room. Our primary and main exit will be to my right and to the west side, the east side of the property. We'll be exiting out this door, through the lobby, down the tarmac. We'll meet the corner of California and Channel. If for some reason this door is blocked or you cannot access it, we have another exit here at the north side. We can exit out this door, across the tarmac. We'll again meet at California and Channel as a meeting point. We have an AED here on the right side of my room. We also have a fire extinguisher and first aid and customer service. In case of emergency, I'll be contacting first responders and working with them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephen. We are now going to do the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, and we're going to let it be led by our new CEO.
Ready? Begin.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I feel so much pride when we do that. Just pride, just joy. Okay, roll call. Miss Erica?
Chair Graves?
Present.
Director Moran?
Present.
Director Edwards?
Present.
Thank you.
Moving on. So item number 6, information on public comments. So the public is encouraged to comment on each agenda item as it is presented to the RTD Board of the Directors. All non-agenda public comments will occur under agenda item number 12. So we're going to save that to the end. We're going to get to the good stuff right now, okay? So reports, item number 8. Oh, yeah, that's what happens when it's your first day on the job, right? All right, so election of officers presented by Julie Sherman.
It's, so what you're looking to do is nominate, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. So what you want to do is nominate a vice chair because you currently have an opening for vice chair. So you're looking for a first and a second and a vote for vice chair.
I would like to nominate Geneva Murad. I think you will do great as vice chair if you're open to that.
I second that.
Okay, I would like to move forward with a vote.
Go ahead.
Aye.
Yep.
Oh, Ms. Erica?
Roll call vote?
Yeah.
All right. Chair Graves?
Yes.
Director Moran? Can I vote for myself?
Yes.
And Director Edwards?
Yes.
Thank you.
Awesome. Moving on. Reports. This will be presented by Ms. Kimberly Turner. So, yeah, we're going to have reports by Ms. Kimberly Turner.
Thank you. I have a PowerPoint presentation I'd like to share. Also, as a point of order, I'm going to verbally note that there were no contracts awarded. Since there was no contracts awarded, we do not have an agenda item for you, but I do make a note for the record.
Thank you. Financial update. Oh, not yet? Oh, I apologize. I'm
I'm
trying.
sitting next to you.
There we go. That's why I appreciate you.
All right, I would like to provide a report and an update to the board. I'll be doing this every month. As you know, I've been appointed the interim CEO for 6 months, and what I'd like to do every month is provide you with an update. I was hired as the interim, but also as a consultant to help you determine the state of the agency and also to provide some of the action items and improvements we'd like to do. Next slide, please. I want you to know that it's not showing on the screen. There we go. I want you to know that I am out meeting the passengers and working with the operators and interviewing them and talking to them, making sure things are going well during this transition of my role as interim. Every week I go out and I ask leadership to go out with me. I'm pleased to say that so far so good. I do have a campaign. My personal campaign is a ride-along campaign, and my hashtag is no empty buses. And I'll be posting that on Facebook as well as all other social media platforms. Max and his team are also helping me post it on the RTD platforms as well. I had the privilege of meeting with staff on my first week at the Downtown Transit Center. The following week, I met with staff at the Regional Transportation Center. I've also had opportunity to meet with the union representatives and tour the Union Transfer Center, and again, continue to ride the routes. My goal is to make sure that I am aware and informed about RTD as a whole, because decisions do need to be made, and I want to assess the impact of them. Next slide, please. Just a brief update on our system. We do have system-wide ridership increases for 2025. In February of 26, ridership was 10,137 each weekday, which is 81% above, 80% rather of the pre-pandemic levels. The pre-pandemic system-wide ridership was approximately 12,500 rides per weekday. And we are going to be doing a marketing campaign to help increase ridership to pre-COVID levels. I've been given the charge by Director Murad to make sure we get to where we were before the pre-pandemic, and so we will be working hard to do that. Next slide, please. In your packet are the meetings that I attended during the month, my first month on the job. I did want to let you know about some upcoming meetings because I am going out to meet with stakeholders in our county, jurisdictions, Lathrop, Lodi, Tracy, Manteca, Ripon, and Escalon on transit service coordination. As you know, we do provide regional service, and I am meeting with the transit operators and their managers, I believe, next week. I'm also having partnership meetings with our sister rail agencies, ACE Commuter Rail and Valley Link, to discuss coordination opportunities of services, to make sure that we are aligned together in the regional focus of transit. Our funding agencies are Caltrans and San Joaquin Council of Governments. I'm meeting with them also regularly on grant funding. As you know, RTD is 100% funded by grants and other allocations, so we want to make sure that we align appropriately with the requirements of the grants to make sure we are compliant. And I also will be initiating collective bargaining meetings starting in April with our union representatives. Next slide, please. I have begun to do an assessment of our financial situation at RTD. I wanted to provide the board with a interim list of findings. The first being there have not been any fiscal audits in the past 2 years. This is of concern because we are supposed to do an audit on an annual basis, and I want to let the board know that this is where we are as of now. Also, the 25-26 budget has a $24+ million shortfall due to the non-receipt of SB 125 revenues. The budget has not been balanced as yet. We do plan to work towards that, but as of today, we are in a shortfall. Since 2025, operating expenses continue to increase while revenues declined. This has contributed to a deficit. A more detailed report will be coming from Tom in the next item that's going to be reported to explain that a little bit more. Also, the cybersecurity attack is still impacting our financial systems. We're doing a lot of things manually that could have been done otherwise, but we are in the process of recovery. But as of today, we are not fully there yet. And then the directors may note that LSL independent account report, I did email you on March 24th. This identifies some discrepancies in available operating revenues. That was commissioned by the San Joaquin Council of Governments. Next slide, please. In addition to the other audits that are pending, we have a single audit requirement. This is a federal requirement. That's an annual requirement that still needs to be done. The Transportation Development Act audit, the National Transit Database audit, a retirement system audit. We are in the midst of a federal transit triennial review, and also I'm going to be commissioning an internal control review. And again, these are mandated requirements that are either pending or overdue. Next slide, please. In response to the other slides and information I provided before, I am initiating a financial recovery action plan, phase 1. The first is to complete our essential hires. As you may recall, the chief financial officer position, the finance director position, and other positions in the finance office were all vacant when I joined. We have begun the hiring process, and I'm expecting that to be completed no later than mid-April, so I'm very pleased about that. I'd also like to thank the senior leadership who has been filling in on the interim basis to help support the agency's efforts for financial accountability. We do plan to issue an RFP and contract for services for a full audit. I know you have many questions regarding our financial condition. That's why I'm initiating this full audit. It will take a year, and so I will be providing you with updates as the audit is underway. I've also implemented internal office efficiencies. We have a hiring freeze for admin staff. We're only doing essential travel. We're also doing a 10% reduction in spending. This started in March. And again, I'm looking for other types of efficiencies to make the operation run smoother, and also to allow our finance office to be able to track all expenditures so that we can start with a clean budget July 1. We'd like to also complete our financial system recovery. I understand that we're near completion for fiscal year 24. I'm hoping that by the end of June, we also have our fiscal year 25 financial system recovery, at least for the data portion. Staff have been working overtime as well as contractors, and my expectation is that will be done by the end of June. And of course, I will provide you with monthly updates as we meet in the meetings, as well as any questions that you may have. Next slide, please. Thank you very much. This concludes my report. Please let me know if you have any questions. Back to you, Chair.
That was amazing and a lot for me to process, but luckily she does a great job briefing me weekly and being very intentional with everything. So really grateful for that. I'm ready to move on. If any questions, you guys have anything? Good. Okay, financial update, Director of Procurement, Thomas Dempsey. I did pronounce your name right, sir, right?
Yes.
Okay, that last name could be a little tricky. I appreciate you.
No worries. Thank you. I brought a little water in case I end up talking a lot. Let's see here. So for the financial update, I wanted to just kind of start off with a little summary. You have the report, of course, as well. RTD is financially stable, but currently managing two distinct issues. There is a short-term cash flow constraint. This is caused by timing delays and grant reimbursements, largely, and then a budget deficit position, which is driven really by delayed or anticipated revenues not being realized. So our plan, of course, is to use the reserves to bridge the timing gaps and present budget adjustments, as our interim CEO just announced, coming up in the May 2026 board meeting. Let's see, our current financial position, the year is about 66.7% complete. Revenues are actually slightly above the budget expectations overall. Let's see here. So, and some of that is driven by vacant positions, labor savings, and some lower than expected services and material costs. So RTD is performing within the original budget expectations. I did send for the board, because I thought it might be helpful, a primer. Is it possible to switch to that, Erica? This is just a brief little presentation. I called it a cash flow primer, just to kind of help guide the discussion. And so essentially, if we go to the next slide, you'll see that how cash flows at RTD. We have inflows from federal grants, typically FTA, state, local revenues that come in. And our outflows are typically things like payroll and benefits, fuel and maintenance, capital projects, contract costs. A lot of our funds are reimbursement based. So what that means is that RTD will have to incur a cost, and then it'll go back to the grantor and request funds. So we pay up front and then get reimbursed at the end. So if you look at the next slide, yeah, there we go. When you look at budget, that's planned revenues and expenses, right? This is our plan for the year. And so that's why, with things having changed, we're going to do a budget update. Cash flow is the timing of actual cash movement, right? So sometimes, again, like I said, you have to pay up front and then get reimbursements in arrears. So that creates that timing issue. The next slide will show a little bit of a graphic. So there's our RTD cash, and actually, what happens when you have a cash flow issue, which is not all that unusual, especially when you're dealing with reimbursements and such. The outflows are going first in some cases, or many cases, and the inflows are coming second. So when you have reimbursements, right, it's going to lag behind the expenditures, and then reserves and other funds will bridge that timing gap. And we do have a cash reserves policy. It was updated in 2025 by the prior board members, of course, and we are within the guidelines for that. So that's kind of the situation that we're looking at. And then if you want to go back to the report. So the key financial issue number one is the cash flow timing. So just as we covered, right, there's negative cash flow year to date. Okay, but we are generally okay with that. The primary cause was really kind of our federal reimbursements. We are working to resolve that. We expect that soon. But the action that or important context around this is that they're earned funds, so it's not lost revenue. It is coming. And then the action that we're taking is we're using reserves, of course, and other funds, and then reimbursing them once we get those revenues received. So RTD is fronting operational capital costs, but this is a timing issue, not a structural failure of the budget. Coming away from that is we do have a budget deficit. If you're looking at the report, currently to date it's $9.66 million. This is primarily due to funding that was not received that was anticipated. So that's why we're going to be doing an updated budget. When you're coming away from that, we are actually having funds that we believe that we can adjust and move over to cover that. And of course, there is also the cash reserves that we have. So, we're not actually out of money, but it's not within what the budget expectations were, just to kind of make sure that that's being understood. So what we're doing for that is utilizing reserves, of course, to maintain operations, things like payroll, operations, capital. And then, of course, we have our midterm budget update that'll be coming. So when we come back, we'll have adjustments to the revenue assumptions and the expenditures and have alignment between them. Likely we'll be using things like perhaps other funds that are available for those expenditures that we can identify for your approval, using reserves, and then of course that'll maintain our financial stability. It is important to note that we are financially stable and we are operating responsibly. It's just that cash flow timing requires use of the reserves, and budget adjustments are needed to align with the actual funding expectations. So both issues are known, they're manageable, and we are working on addressing them. Coming away from that, I would just say that what we're seeing is not really, not necessarily something I would describe as a spending problem, more of a timing problem, and adjusting our expectations with the current realities of funding received. So we do see solutions possible for both. We're using our reserves exactly as they're intended to bridge the gap. And again, we're coming back to you in May with a revised budget. So with that, I'll see if there's any questions.
No questions from me. Anything for you or you guys?
Okay, there we go. Thank you, Tom. You did a great job.
Thank you.
The elephant in the room is the $24.6 million we did not receive out of SB 125, and that's the reason we have to do the budget change for this fiscal year. The assumption was that those monies would be received. They did not happen this year. We're going to talk about future years. COG has said there is an avenue or a path forward for the future, but for this year, it is not going to happen. So our budget alignment will adjust by $24.6 million because the spending assumed that receipt. So we need to adjust that. Thank you, Tom.
No problem. All right.
Thank you, Thomas. We really appreciate it and everything that you do. Moving on to written reports provided for information only. Staff will be available to answer any questions. I don't have any questions on this. Does anybody on the board or anybody have any questions?
Chair, not a question, but I see Max is in the room here, and I haven't had a chance to talk to him. I know that you occurred a recent loss in your family, and so I want to just give my condolences to you. So just thank you for that, and thank you for all that you guys do.
Condolences. Awesome. So we can move on from that. Moving on. So moving on to the next item, consent calendar. As chair, I hereby appoint Director Derek Graves and Director Geneva Murad to the Finance and Audit Committee. There's no vote on that. I'm just doing that. Okay, and then moving on to the consent calendar. This is going to be yeah, I think everything is good, so ready to yeah, ready to move on.
Calendar, we'll need a motion.
Yeah, so I'm gonna move. I have already reviewed everything multiple times. I'm ready to motion and move forward with it and approve everything.
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
Erica, do the roll call.
Chair Graves?
Yes.
Director Murad? Yes. Director Edwards?
Yes.
Thank you guys so much. Where we at? Moving on to item number 11. Okay, so authorizing estimated board travel expenses for the calendar year of 2026. Board authorization of up and coming 2026 board members' travel and estimated travel expenses. So I would like to make a motion to approve this. Can I have a second?
Second.
Chair Graves?
Yes.
Director Murad? Yes. Director Edwards?
Yes.
Okay, moving on. So motion authorizing the interim CEO to execute an amendment to the contract with the Gilling LLC for the purchase of 5 additional hybrid electric buses through the state of Washington. What is this word? Cooperative contract. My bad.
That's okay.
And increase the contract by $12,400,000 with not to exceed the amount of $44,800,000. This purchase also includes procedure price index, PPI adjustments, CAD AVL equipment upgrades, and cognitive. Is that cognitive? What is that? Did I say right here?
Which one?
Right here. I want to make sure I get it right for you guys.
Contingencies.
Contingencies. Board authorization of contract amendment with Gilling LLC for $12,400,000. Presented by John Van Camp.
If you have any questions.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, you guys have any questions?
No, I'm ready to make a motion to approve.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to second that.
Chair Graves?
Yes.
Director Murad? Yes. Director Edwards?
Yes.
And I appreciate you guys being patient with me. This is a little nervous, and I got a little dyslexia, so that degree don't it means something, but like sometimes I get a little nervous. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys, and I'm glad we got that approved. John, thank you for working really diligently on this, and now it was very clear. So, you know, any mix up in the past, I'm ready to move on.
I really appreciate it because the contract actually ends tomorrow for that cooperative, so if we didn't do it today, we would, prices would increase.
Yeah, well, you came in your best suit today. You thought you was going to talk, huh? Look, he was ready to come up here and let it all out, but that's dedication and that's intention, moving with intention. So I appreciate everything you do, and this was very clear and very understanding, and thank you. All right, so moving on, we are at public comments. We are at public comments. Do we have any public comments? We have not received any. Wow, okay, so moving on. Questions and comments from directors and staff?
Director, I have just a couple comments. One, I would like to thank the bus operators, mechanics. I do know we've had a few buses that have broken down since our last board meeting that have been on the streets. I actually went to an operator. They didn't know who I was. I just asked them if they were okay, if they needed water, anything like that. They were very professional. But they look very stressed. And so I just want to say that seeing that from that point of view gives me a different perspective. Seeing it in real time, you having to get people off the bus, wait for another bus to come and pick up those people, and then you still have to stay until your bus that you're currently on is picked up. So I just want to say that I appreciate everyone, that the inner workings to make that operation happen. And then second, and I guess this is more of a question for the shortfall of the 24 million, and I understand how reimbursements work, but at any time, and maybe there's someone here that can answer this, that there was an alarm put out there that said that we might not be getting this money and we might want to tailor our spending just a tad bit, and two, being 9 million, almost $10 million in the hole, that's nothing to sneeze at. I serve on boards and budgets and chairs of budgets, and at no time do we just spend money just because we think it's coming. If it's not there and it's not forecast, it's not showcased, then we don't do it. We make other provisions. And so I am very disappointed by that and the former administration that allowed that to happen. And I wish that someone was here today to speak up on that, because to me, that's not acceptable.
Yes, I can speak to what I found coming here. Tom did a good job explaining the current situation. The spending pattern, however, increased even after monies were not received. Service increased and spending increased. And what I mean by increase, it increased to the levels that were budgeted rather than the levels to the funds that were received. Yes, we have the way to balance the budget. There's a way we can balance the budget. There's a way that we can account for the deficit or the shortfall that we have identified. But that's not the course for normal practice, as you have noted. We do need to align our spending to match our revenues. And so that is what we'll be working on between now and the time we finalize the budget. But you are correct, there was no corrective action taken prior to our efforts to align the budget with available resources. That is correct.
Thank you for that, and that's all my comments.
Before we move on, because we're about to go into closed sessions, just want to say this is a transit business, but it is a service business. Like, we serve people. So, you know, I don't want us to ever forget that. And I'm not saying you guys do, but what you guys do as far as on a day-to-day basis, it serves a community, many communities. So I don't want that to ever get overlooked. It's not just transit, it's service. So I appreciate you guys because I love people. And that's the only reason why I was looking forward to joining this board, because RTD literally was a safe haven for me. My mom, single parent, had to commute to Sacramento, and I didn't have a ride when they shut down the Stockton Unified bus system at the time. So I really appreciate everything that RTD does and what you guys do. I see how diligent you guys work, and I hear about it all the time. So remember, this is not just transit, it's service. So continue to serve and do it with a big heart. Do it with love, right? When you guys put all this time and effort into these reports and all that, it means something. It's not just a report. It's love behind it. You guys have a salary that you guys get. You're already going to get your salary. So I know you guys work hours past that and doing that, and you don't do that for your salary. You do that for people. So continue to serve and love people, and we will overcome anything that we have going. So we are going to be moving on to closed sessions. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, so do I got to take a break? It's my first day, so.
They'll clear the room,
Okay.
and then you'll do your closed session, and then
We'll invite everybody back.
back into open session.
Thank you, guys.
John, question.